about it. Let's talk about it. Don't you wanna talk about it? Let's talk about
Inspirations
it.
Live.
Don't you wanna talk
And
about
now,
it? Let's talk
Mr.
about it.
JSpire.
Don't you wanna talk about it? Let's talk about it. Don't you wanna talk about it? Let's talk about it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Fill Up Friday Live. I am your host, Mrs. JSpire. So excited to be with you guys tonight. I know that it is the Friday before Christmas, so I know many of you may not be catching this live, but I do hope that you are able to catch the replay. So if you are catching the replay, welcome, 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 and thank you so much. So for those of you who are Fill Up Friday faithfuls, the folks who come on every Friday night to hang out with us, to share, welcome. Thank you so much for your dedication. Thank you for coming on every Friday night. Thank you for rocking with us, many of you for the last 5 years. If you are new to the page, then you may be asking, well, Mrs. J Spire, what is Philip Friday Live and what is Philip Friday Faithful? So, Philip Friday Live is a time where we come together after most of the time a really long week just to chat with each other, talk about what we filled up on this week. And if we didn't fill up on anything, talk about what we needed that we didn't get. And hopefully by the end of the show, by the end of the night, that you are inspired. You are J-spired, and that when you leave, your cup is full and not half empty or not half full, but that your cup is full. So tonight, there's a couple things that we are going to be talking about. Um, it just seems like this week, everything that we posted has really just been coming together. Um, kind of like I wasn't sure what I wanted to post, but you guys know that when I post is always very intentional. And so tonight we're going to go through some of those posts like we do every Friday night. And then we're going to wrap it all up with what we posted today. And what we posted today was so powerful. Actually, it wasn't even my thoughts. Hey, Joy. Wasn't even my thoughts, but it was something that someone else said that just spoke to me. It spoke to my heart. It spoke to my spirit, and it really encouraged me. Good evening, Lucy. It really encouraged me, and so I hope that it encourages you as well. Joy, I'm so happy to see you. I haven't chatted with you in 2 weeks. See all the good things that you are doing. Excited for you, proud of you as well, and so glad that you are here with us tonight. There's a couple other people that's watching as well that has not come into the comments, and I'm not sure who's watching, but welcome. So listen, you guys, I wanted to start by what we posted on Monday. So we're just going to read through the week and we'll bring it all together. So Monday thoughts were: last night the wind was blowing and the rain was pouring. Woke up this morning, it was still raining and it was dark and blurry. Just walked by the window, and honestly, I was feeling sorry for myself at the time. And the sun is shining so bright. It was a reminder to me that things happen, life changes, decisions are made, hearts get broken, sadness comes, people change, etc. But the sun, SUN, will shine. So reminding myself and reminding you. Then on Wednesday, we posted, there are times when the early bird doesn't get the worm. However, it reminds the bird that it is capable of reaching the destination. Keep flying. You guys keep that in your head, right? We're going to talk about it a little bit more. Then on Thursday, which was yesterday, we posted, this morning I sat on the side of the bed while thanking God for all he has done for me. Later, I began to thank him for what he has allowed me to do for others and what they have done for me. Last night, one of my friends texted me, thanks for being you. I was going to respond, you are welcome, but thank you for making it easy to be me was in my spirit. So I typed that instead. When the love and friendship is real, all you can be is you, and it's easy. If you find it hard to just be you when if you find it hard to just be you when you're around others, make some changes. There is no relationship important enough to change who God has called you to be. So I'm going to stop right there before we read Friday, because Friday is really going to bring it all together. So, on Friday, Philip Fridays, we talk about a lot of different things. We're always talking about a new topic, but we always bring it back to just being open and obedient to being and doing who and what God has called you to be. Right. And in doing those things, it's going to be a lot of trials. It's going to be a lot of tribulations. It is going to push us into places and spaces that in the natural, we don't think that we are ready for. It's going to push us to connect to people that sometimes we don't think that we belong near, right? But if we have to remember that even going through those trials and tribulations, it's all purposeful. We don't understand it, but there's a reason for it, right? And I heard someone say this week that everything that happens, God has to give permission for it, right? It's not just the enemy is not in control of it. People are not in control of it. We're not even in control of it, because sometimes we can be our own worst enemy, but we're not in control of it. Everything that happens in our lives, God has to give permission for it to happen. We don't like it. We don't love it. We don't want to go through it. We don't want to do it. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to feel it. None of those things, right? Because some of those things are hurtful, as we talked about. Some of those things are sad. Some of those things are life changing, right? And some of those things are even losing people, not just to death or anything like that, but just relationships in general, right? Where there's people that we're usually close to, or we hang out with, or we say that they're our friend and things like that. But slowly but surely, you find yourself spending less time with them or talking to them less. And it's because where we're going, everybody can't go, right? And it doesn't mean that you don't love them. It doesn't mean that you're not their friend. Sometimes there is a space of separation that we have to do, right? Sometimes there's just things we have to do by ourselves, or there's other people that God has called us to connect with in order for it to happen, right? And so even though those things are hurtful and sad, it's part of life and we have to move through it. So I want to remind you today that there are going to be storms. Sometimes the wind is going to blow and you think that it is going to blow you away, but it's not, right? We think about the scripture where we are building our house, right? And what the foundation is, and that we're building our house upon a rock, right? And that it cannot be moved. The storms may come and the winds may blow, right? But as long as we have God as our foundation, as long as we are obedient, and as long as we are allowing him to carry us, right? And allowing him to lead us. You think about where it says, we saw those one set of footprints in the sand, and it was God carrying us all the time, right? All the time he is carrying us. So today what we posted was, and this touched my spirit so much, you guys. Don, I saw you just come on. Welcome. Tonight we posted, and like I said, it wasn't anything that I thought of or anything that I said, but this morning, and the time of the day it was, I'm not even usually like in the car all the time, right? Or I may be talking on the phone if I am on my way, into work and things like that. So sometimes I'm listening to the radio, sometimes I'm not. But this morning, we were off from work today, and so I was out getting some errands done, and I was listening to the Erica Campbell show, right? I think it's called Wake Up Mornings. And she was doing an interview with the cast of The Color Purple, and I hope y'all going to see it. I'm going to see it after everybody else sees it because too many people. But anyway, so she was asking them about fear, and some other people were talking about, like, you can't be you can't trust God, you can't have faith and have fear. But then she started talking to Fantasia, and Fantasia said, and I'm probably paraphrasing, right, but she said that you are going to be scared sometimes, and you are sometimes going to have some fear, right? She said, but her grandmother told her to put fear in the trunk and drive the car, right? And this spoke to me so much. Like, put fear in the trunk and drive the car, right? So, and one of my girlfriends said it a couple years ago, like, do it scared, right? Yes, we're going to have some fear. I have been training classes, speaking in front of people, probably speaking in front of people since I was a kid, right? In some type of capacity, and training classes and facilitating groups, I don't know, for 20 years now, right? But every single time that I go to do it, I'm not fearful, but I get a little nervous, right? Every single time. Sometimes I try to talk myself out of it. Sometimes I'm talking my way around and around saying, oh my God, I'm so nervous. I'm so scared, right? What if I mess up? Or what if people don't show up? And there's always this level of something, right? And my mom will tell me, don't worry about it, right? She'll say, you're going to be fine, right? Don's on here, Joy's on here. They'll tell me things like, you were made for this, right? Don will say, this is your calling, right? We always say things like that. Hey, JY, we always say things like that, right? But like, just listening to it this morning, and what she said was, put it in the trunk and still drive the car, right? Like, you're in charge of the car. You're driving the car. You turn the car on, you put gas in the car, you have oil in the car, you know where you're going. And if you don't know where you're going, you have the GPS. When we're driving an actual car, we have the GPS, but we know, like in the spirit, God is the GPS, right? So put fear in the trunk. Say, listen, you might have to go with me and be a little nervous, right? Be a little scared, but you're not getting in my car. You can't ride in the front seat. I'm not even putting you in the back seat. You got to get in this trunk because I'm driving this car. I'm listening to my GPS and I'm going to my destination, right? And so with you being in the trunk, the closer I get, the less fearful I am, right? Why? Because God has taken us to the destination, right? We get there, we have arrived. Fear didn't do anything, right? But all along, the GPS is telling us where to go, where to turn, right? Sometimes, like, even you push the button, it'll tell you if it's an accident somewhere or if it's traffic somewhere. So it'll take you around the detour, right? But you still get to your destination. And fear may be somewhere near you, right? Just a little bit, but it's locked in the trunk. Keep driving the car. So I encourage you tonight to follow grandma's advice, right? Follow Fantasia's grandmother's advice. Put fear in the trunk and drive the car. And it's something close to what my mom would tell me. Like, girl, you're going to be okay. You can do it. And sometimes I'm like, Ma, like, she'll give me scripture. She'll tell me what God says. I'm like, Ma, you already know. I know what the scripture says. And pretty much what she's telling me is, if you know what the scripture is, then what you worried about, right? What are you second guessing? You know what God has put in you. You already know that you're going to get to the destination. And so tonight, I encourage you, drive the car, follow the GPS. Listen to what God is telling you, right? Follow his instructions. And we talked about that last week. That was one of the posts that we had. Being able to follow his instructions. I'm going to try to get back to it just so I can reference it, but follow his instructions. Um, I wish somebody would grab it, but I'm gonna try to grab it really, really quickly. This was December the 11th, and we said, yeah, I said yesterday a situation happened, and I got nervous and frustrated. In my mind, I was thinking, I don't have anyone to help me with this. I started praying. I said, God, I need your direction. As I began to pray, I calmed down. I stopped and God gave me instruction. I already had the tools. I just needed to pause. He worked it out, and I didn't need anyone's help but his. God has put everything that we need inside of us. We just have to learn to listen for his instructions. So, again, tonight, drive the car, go where he tells you to go, get on the plane, get on the boat, the ship, accept the invitation, right? To speak, to draw, whatever it is. God is our GPS. Gonna be a little nervous sometimes, gonna be a little scared. Yep, sometimes. Gonna be a little fearful. Yeah, right? We are. We are human. But God says, do it anyway. My friend said, do it scared. Fantasia's mom said, grandmother, I'm sorry, said, put fear in the trunk and drive the car. My mom says, girl, you already know what God has put inside of you. Sometimes she won't even finish the conversation with me. I'm trying to talk to her and she's like, I love you. And she's getting off the phone. Why? Because she is my mom. And so she already knows what's inside of me. So her expectation is go and do it, right? That is my natural mom. But God, like our Father, he knows, he's telling us, go and do it. I've already put it inside of you. So God has put it inside of us, and our natural parents, they water it, right? And so that's why my mom can say, okay, I'm getting off the phone, right? Because she's not going to keep on, even though I'll be saying, Ma, don't hang up, but she's not going to keep on entertaining that, because what she's telling me, for lack of a better word, is put fear in the trunk and go, right? You know you can do it. You know what you're capable of. God has already given you everything that you need. So that is what I want to encourage you tonight. We are coming to the end of this year, 2023. We have one last fill up Friday left next week, the 29th. I'll be checking schedules. I'm not sure if we'll be on, but I do plan to be on, and I'll let you guys know as soon as possible if we're not. But what I want to encourage you to do is don't wait, right? Don't wait until the clock strikes midnight on the 31st to say, I'm going to get this done. Don't wait. The time is now. Drive the car now, right? Do it now. There's a couple of you on here who I've already talked about. There's some things that you're starting, right? That God has been talking with you about, and you wasn't sure, right? Put fear in the trunk and drive the car. Go ahead and do it now. Don't wait until 2024. We've been talking every year. We don't make New Year resolutions. We don't have to wait to say what we're going to do. If God gave it to you, do it now. I started thinking, oh man, there's a couple shows I want to do. I'll wait till the new year. And I'll start working on it. And then no, it was like, contact this person now. Do it now. Start putting those things in order. Start planning and getting things together. What are we waiting for? Right? Today is today. Is today. Why not do it? And so this week I've been working and I met with someone to talk about some things for the show. Yeah, the show's going to be in January, but preparation starts now, right? We talked about at the beginning of the year that we were walking in preparation, we were walking in purpose. And expectation, right? Those were the things that we were walking in this year. And so we're not waiting for anything. We're doing what God has called us to do. We're listening for his instructions and we are following through. So I encourage you tonight to do that. I encourage you to practice some self-care this weekend. Do something that fills you up, right? And for the holidays, if you're by yourself, if you've lost someone, if you're sad for any reason, reach out, right? That's what the Fill Up Friday faithfuls are for. That's what Fill Up Friday is for. And it could have been someone that you lost 10 years ago. It could have been something that happened 20 years ago. It doesn't matter. However you feel is however you feel. And so reach out and connect with family, connect with friends, connect with the faithfuls, right? Because we want to make sure that we are inspiring each other, that we're being inspired, we're being JSpire, and that we're also JSpiring others. So connect and do what you need to do. God didn't put Jspirations Live here just for us just to talk. He put us here for us to help and support and to encourage each other, one another. So I encourage you to do that. I encourage you to reach out if you need to. You do not have to do life alone. So if you guys have some comments you want to drop in, anything you want to say, I'll give you a moment to do that. Um, and then if not, after that, we're going to go ahead and end Fill Up Friday Live for tonight. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope that something was said that blessed you, that encouraged you, that motivated you, that J-spired you. Share the video. And again, if you're catching the replay, go ahead and drop your comments in. We always go back and read to make sure that we can respond if needed. I know that's right, Joy. And listen, Joy has been thank you, Don. Joy has always been like, I won't tell her because she'll have to tell her own testimony, but that's my girl, and we haven't talked in a few weeks, but we talk. And Joy's been doing some things that's out of her comfort zone, right? And nervous, right? She said, and with the intent to dump it in the water. I know that is right. Joy has been doing some things that's been out of her comfort zone, right? She's been saying yes to some things that before she would have said no to. But yeah, say yes. Say yes to the opportunities, because everything that we have is already inside of us, right? So if an opportunity comes to us, that means that we're capable of doing it, right? We are capable of doing it. Don says, I'm stepping out in purpose this year as well. Yeah, Don is doing some things. Like I said, y'all on here, and I talked to y'all, so I know that you're doing some things out of your comfort zone. But when you step out like that, listen, God is going to get the glory. He's going to blow your mind. If you guys think that 2023 has been amazing for me in so many different ways, with doing the 5-year anniversary and knowing that 15 years ago, God put the people that I would need in my life to bring the 5-year anniversary to fruition. And then meeting those people about 15 years ago, and then all of those people moving from the space where I saw them every day, right, to not seeing them every day, and then just being able to talk to them. Lots of times when people stop working together, it becomes a disconnect, right? Like you try to stay in contact, you try to stay together, but a lot of times it doesn't happen. But God allowed our friendship to just keep growing and growing and growing. So even 15 years later, my girls, my friends who I didn't even want to have friends, right? But I met them at a time when I needed, and God knew I would need them 15 years ago to bring about what He needed to bring out of me, right? And that was Don, right? And Paula and Mika. And through them, I was able to meet Amicia and then Liwanda and then Susan, right? So He gives us what we need. So even though like those connections was He was already put those in us, right? Because He knew we needed each other. And then when He moved Don and them like out of my space of seeing them every day, then a couple years later He moved Joy in, right? Because He knew that we needed to make that connection. Like He knows who we are going to need. Don says He brings the midwives before it's time to deliver. Absolutely. That is amazing. I'm so glad that you said that. Like He knew who my mom, He knew who my mom needed to be, right? He knew who my mom needed to rear, right? So He already knows before the foundation of the earth, before we were in our mother's womb, like He already knew who and what we needed. I think Miss Deborah is on here too. Like God knew, He knows what we need. And so that's why all we have to do is follow instruction. Just follow instruction. And then like Fantasia's grandmother said, put in the trunk and drive the car. And Joy said with the purpose of dumping it in the water, right? Like you may be here for a second, Fear, but my intent, what my goal is, you may be able to ride for a little while, but baby, you got to go. And so that's how we're moving. And we're not just moving into 2024 like that, but we're starting, that's how we're ending 2023. That's what we're doing right now with the days that we have left in 2023. We're driving the car, we're pushing forward, we're moving forward, we're not going in reverse, we're in drive, and we're doing what we need to do, and we're going where we need to go. Sometimes we know the destination, sometimes we don't. But when we have God, listen, we locked and loaded. So we know we safe, right? We know we're good. And so that's what we're doing, right? In the words of Joy, for her joy staying free, like stays free, we're staying free. Like that's what we're doing. We're staying free and we're moving forward. All right. So I love you guys. I've been on here for almost 30 minutes, but I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for rocking with us. Hope that we will see you guys next Friday right here at 8 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Listen, Monday is Christmas. Merry Christmas to you guys. Happy holidays. Enjoy time with your family, with your friends. Be like me. I'm going to rest. I'm going to spend some time with my family. And I'm so excited about it. JY, I love you. Miss Deborah said this is confirmation tonight. The instruction from God is an individualized just for me. Stop explaining and put it into action. Absolutely. God gives you something. You don't have to explain to anybody why you're doing it, how you're doing it, how much it costs, why you're whatever. If God has given it to you, you don't have to explain it. You have gotten the instructions from the master. In the words of Nike, just do it. All right, you guys. I will see you guys next week. Enjoy your holiday. And as always, be JSpire.